the MVP Coffee Party. The recording button is there, so it is pressed. So thank you so much.
Now we behave.
Yeah. As you heard in the background, there are some ladies there, and I have to say hello to all the ladies from different countries, from different parts of the world, and say hello. And we have to start to introduce each person, saying something about the name, if you are an MVP or no longer an MVP or so, if you are working in the community, what is your favorite book, the song, your favorite, the city? Yes, I know several people don't like their own cities. They want to they're in another city. And another thing, we're talking about Microsoft stack. That means, yes, your favorite product out of the Microsoft stack. So then I will have to say, okay, we're starting with a guest we have here heard, and it's Mia.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so I start. So I'm Mia. So I come from Taiwan, but actually now I stayed in Berlin for already 2 years. I think like time really flies really soon. And then I'm also MVP for 4 years. The first year is data platform, and then the other 3 years are in the AI category. So like mainly like focus on image recognition or text analysis topic. And something about the culture in the city. So I'm live in Berlin right now. And for me, actually, I'd like the weather right now because I want to go out a bit more. For example, to go to Beergarden or sometimes to meet friends. But because due to Corona, so this thing you have to think of like smaller group or social distance, something like that. So I think that's something from my side.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So next one. It's hard to choose, but okay. I see Sara. So Sara, welcome. And I heard that there are some news about your job and something has changed in your role. So welcome back.
Yeah, after 3 years.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me again. You're still not speaking German. Sorry. So Sara, I'm from Brazil, but I have been living in Germany for 3 years, like 3 years and a few months. I was MVP, and because of 15 days, I could not, have my number 10 ring here. 15 days. Of course, my team lead didn't say if I will get or not, but I think I was not doing like so bad. So, but of course, because of a good reason, not a bad reason, just because I become a FTE. So I joined Microsoft 1 month and a half ago. So that's why I could not get my, 10 years ring. But maybe one day I will be back. So now I am working for Microsoft. I'm still in Germany, but I joined an engineer team, which I should move to Dublin in somehow. The Corona times and so on so far, because the team that I joined, they only have people in Redmond and Atlanta, Dublin, and India. So that's why probably I will be moving. Actually, not probably. I will have to move, and then I will leave the lovely Germany. And I am still, working with Microsoft 365, but now I will be more like in Microsoft side, still helping customers. So as maybe before I was working as a customer, but now I will be like in Microsoft side, working together with the engineer team to make sure that we are, making things better every time that a customer needs something from Microsoft.
Cool.
And
So
what
have a
else?
contact at Microsoft when our customers has a problem. Is it right?
What? Say again?
Okay.
I didn't hear.
yeah. What is
So I don't know if you want to know more, but we can discuss later. But as Mia said, like I am in Berlin, and for sure I do love to go to a beer garden and enjoy some beers with friends. So, and I think the same here.
Perfect. Then we have to ask Antje. Hello.
Hello. I think I'm going to pick up the theme of the beer garden. I think that's the perfect move over to my hometown of Munich. I was born and raised in Munich. I spent about 22 years in the United States and just moved back to Munich again about 2.5 years ago. I'm not an MVP, but I'm super active in the community that started all in Minneapolis, which has an incredible community of Microsoft folks and everybody working there with the product. And then I transferred it over here to Germany. I was organizing the SharePoint Saturday in Munich last year, and various different other things. And talking about beer gardens, well, it's been on the west side of Munich, it was dry today. On the east side, it was downpouring like crazy. That's where my office is. And I just recently picked up hiking again. So
Nice.
The mountain you see in the background is on my list.
Ooh,
That's great.
great.
And a nice little tidbit about community. The person that actually got me going with hiking again is somebody who joined the Adoption and Change Forum, which is a meetup group that I started to organize with 2 other folks here in Munich. So this is really about community. She has nothing to do with Microsoft, but she put in there Verena aus Pasing, and I live in Pasing too. And I said, we need to connect. And 2 weeks later, we hiked the first mountain, and we're going again in 2 days.
Wow, well done.
That's great.
That's our way of physical and social distancing going up on the mountain.
There's more traffic in the mountains than on the street.
Sometimes there is, yes.
So, and welcome, and we are very honored, like you all, and welcome, Christina. So we switch it now in real life to the USA. So thank you very much that you have time, and we find a perfect day and time. So very welcome, and it's your turn.
So speaking of Germany, so Christina Wheeler, I am a Microsoft MVP, Office Apps and Services. I got renewed again, thankfully, for another year. So must be doing something right. But honestly, I just do what I'm passionate about. And this whole, I actually thought about you, Antje, last night because I was going through my pantry and I still have the boxes of the things that I bought with your mom. I'm like, I need to make this. And then I started thinking about, I'm like, I need to make schnitzel again because Antje taught me schnitzel. I'll tell you what, I was walking around the house last night thinking how much I miss Germany. I miss Munich. I miss being with you, Antje, at your house and your kids and your family. And so it was bittersweet because, I was sad at one point, but I was also like smiling because I'm thinking about the awesome times we've had together. And I know it's going to continue eventually. So, but yeah, I had a lot of things in my head yesterday as I'm looking at all my stuff and seeing the things I brought back from Germany does make me smile. And I'm like, I don't want to cook this yet because then that means it's going to be gone. So I'm not going to do that yet. So what was the other questions? Yes, it's so great to be on with you all. I will tell you, this is refreshing because I know we were supposed to be in Belgium and Germany the other month. I was supposed to be in Belgium and Germany, and it's bittersweet. As some of you have seen, I've gotten into paddleboarding, which has been extremely therapeutic. So if I get anxious, which anxiety is not something I'm used to really dealing with, that's been affecting me with this whole shutdown stuff. So, I get like sad. I miss you guys. Then I go paddleboard. So I go paddleboard. I go in the water. I'm like, Oh, this feels great. So, but no, I love each and every one of you, and I want to thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you very much. And a very short introduction, very cool. So, so that's fantastic. But I think we can start with the question. What Hans is starting is, what is your favorite product in the Microsoft area? Can you choose one, or is it too hard to choose one and you have to choose two? Or what's your favorite one? If someone wake up with you and ask you in the middle of the night and say, okay, you have one choice. What's your product? So I think we start Christina, and then Mia, Sara, and Antje. So Christina, what's your favorite product?
So people are gonna. It's not SharePoint. No. Being that I'm a solution architect, and as many of you know, I was independent for a decade. Then I decided to join Todd Baginski's team at Canvas. I started back in the beginning of January, and it's been wonderful. So I'm a solution architect. I've been a solution architect for quite a while, and so I work with all the different products. For me, it's hard to say because each one, I still have mad love for Power BI. Love Power BI. I do a lot, and I'm getting. I've been doing a lot of evangelizing for Teams Dev. I love Teams. There's so much opportunity in Teams. Yes, there's things that frustrate me, but as
not only you.
But I will say, you know what? I'm happy to be part of this ecosystem of watching it grow and blossom, and then being able to work with the product groups and give feedback and interaction with that. And I just was rolled off of helping Audrey out. Audrey was on the Power Platform, and now she moved to Microsoft Teams. And so it's, just got off a call with her before I joined with you guys. And so I'm very passionate about things that I'm helping her with. And so I love the whole ecosystem. I love seeing it as a solution architect. I love seeing the different pieces plugging together. So while I just started doing some Power BI work again, and that always makes me smile and happy. So data modeling is still my passion, but I will say getting into the Teams ecosystem has actually been enjoyable.
Cool. Very cool. Mia.
Okay. I think of one of the product, maybe I kind of really like it recently, is that Azure DevOps. I know it sounds kind of weird compared to my position. So at the moment, I'm work as a data scientist, but sometimes I also need to take care of deployment. So I think people also use the Jenkins or other use tools. But for me, it's really new because I'm mostly knowing machine learning models and I know nothing about deployment. So when I started using Azure DevOps, it's really friendly and helpful because you could see some components there, and then you could just easily follow that component and talk with the DevOps. So you could kind of really fast build your first pipeline. So for me, recently, the tools that I like the most would be the Azure DevOps.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Sara, now you have time to think about it.
So I cannot pick one. So I love all of them. Now you can cut. Now you can, you can cut. And then now you say the truth. Really, there are many, but I think there is, even if I am not the expert, because we are not talking about expertise here, I would say, I think the best one, in my opinion, is Excel. Microsoft Excel. It's not because I am expert. I really would like to become one, but I think it's one of the best products that I have been seeing in Microsoft for many years, and is still working as should be working, for many years for many companies. So you can also cut this part. Yeah, so because I could say Microsoft Teams for another reason, because I think Microsoft Teams for me, it's not because it's it's the best solution that I am seeing that Microsoft is building. It's because Microsoft Teams helped for the first time SharePoint adoption, Exchange, not much because people were using a bit wrong Exchange since they started. But helped a lot with OneDrive and SharePoint adoption, And I remember 4 years ago when I was working with adoption, and it was so complicated, to show the value of SharePoint to end users, because we are always using the technical word SharePoint, or intranet, or file management, or something like that. And Microsoft Teams just started, and people were using SharePoint and OneDrive in a way that I could not make it for many years, And then I think Microsoft Teams has this site, which I am very proud to say that, wow, well done. You could make Office 365 in one place, in one single place. For the first time I saw it since Beeples, But I think Excel is still like the big product, in my opinion, based on what you can do with Excel, since Microsoft made it.
Yeah, it's wonderful how you can cut and edit pictures in Excel. That's wonderful.
Have you tried also? It's
and
amazing.
if you do the right collaboration with many persons, you can chat with line of each cell and put something
I
like
say
that.
that is the best because I cannot use like in a deep way, but I would like to one day. I will learn.
Next time we chat via Excel. That's okay. I share with you all the file, and then we can chat every line, and then.
Exactly.
So I told you I'm multi-plat. I'm multi.
Yeah.
There we go.
What's that? All right. Okay.
It's
Okay.
snack time.
So I'm just, we're talking about products. So I told you I have multiple products that I enjoy. So I'm decided I'm going to be Teams and Power Ups right now. Okay, go on.
Yeah. No, for me, it's Office 365 always.
So with all of these hard decisions.
That's. By the way, that is also what do you call that? This is you can no longer get a hat with no space, right? What do you call that? This is like I am so having brain farts today. But this is going to be a collector's edition because now there's a space, right? Yes.
Wonderful. So Antje, now it's your time to choose. The right tool or your favorite tool.
What's left for me? So I do have a special place in my heart for SharePoint, I have to say. But I agree with what Sara said. The adoption of SharePoint was rather hard, painful for many. And it's fascinating that now people are using Teams and SharePoint is not mentioned anymore. It's probably okay that way. So I'm just going to say now two things that from a personal perspective, I could not live without OneNote.
The desktop version.
Okay.
Oh,
exactly.
You know what?
The desktop one. Okay.
I second that. I'm a diehard OneNote user.
Yeah. And anybody, any user, not anybody in a company having OneNote and not being aware of it, I think it's an absolute crime. I love the search in it. The great thing is I don't even really have to organize myself because I just search and I find, which is unbelievable. I use it private. I have different OneNotes connected in a desktop version. And I just, the day OneNote dies, I think half my life goes out the window. But I have to say,
on my devices.
Yeah, and I mean on my cell phone, right, everywhere. Then on a personal level, when I go shopping, I cannot live without To Do, because that's where my shopping list goes. Sorry, guys.
No, you're spot on. You're hitting them all because that on a personal level, those are my two. Those are the two things that are my.
Don't worry, I said Excel, so continue.
But the other thing, which is it's kind of. I would not have said this 3 months ago. So you see here this little icon.
Cute one.
Right?
You're using Yammer?
No, hang on a second. So that's an interesting question because I changed jobs 3 months ago. In a company before, we were not using Yammer at all. And I'm now in a company where Yammer is actually being used. People are posting. I mean, we're a very small company, but engagement and participation is key. And I find it fascinating because anybody having a technical question or being stuck, it goes straight on Yammer and people are reading it and they're posting and commenting and it creates community and it happens to work. So I know it always depends on the company culture if Yammer can fly or not.
Yeah.
So it's a product that a lot of people are smiling about and saying, yeah, who the heck needs Yammer? But I do think there can be a good scenario where Yammer can be very successful. So in my current job, I really like that it's there because I know I can post questions there as well and I get answers, which I would not get through Teams and I wouldn't get through email. So, hey, that's my reality.
So,
There it is.
Cool.
and now you, Raphael, what's your favorite product?
What is the interview? Oh.
The guy that didn't send the invitation because of compliance. So
Next time you have to tell it before. No, it's fine. What is my favorite product? Okay.
Raphael in a hot seat.
Yeah, in a hot seat. Okay. I have to drink a beer at first, so.
Nice.
Okay. What's my favorite product? I think the favorite product for me is, and this is definitely one of my favorites, is Microsoft Information Protection. We have double key feature now, and we can encrypt, we can label, we can classify. I can control all data in my Office 365 environment. I can encrypt the data. So yeah, I'm the encryption and data controlling guy. So I like Microsoft Information Protection, and I love that they found more and more features that we need. And for example, publishing features that the customer, also and the enterprise customer, need, like the new double key feature. So one key for Microsoft and one key for the customers, because all of these data privacy and compliance discussions. So I see and saw in the last times Microsoft's reacting. Yeah, that's what I like. It's a product. Every 6 months we had new features, and every 2 weeks we have new ones. And what's the favorite one of this feature? That the basic functionality is working. So we get more and more features, but the basic functionality is working anymore. And that's sometimes feedback for Microsoft that the OneDrive client is down syncing, and I had trouble with my client. So yeah. So Hans, and now it's your time. What's your favorite product? And don't call it OneDrive.
No. The thing is,
not on Drive anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, the thing is that the bot is ready. So next week we release the bot. So the bot lives and runs in Teams. So each Teams user is possible. Now we have a beta phase with 100 people and only 2 languages, because Microsoft is not doing the right job with languages. And it's a little thing that you have some problems in the bot directly and between the different languages. I have installed or have done 700 questions. So not the questions for the IT people. So I have to know new people, what they have, if I have to sync some data with which product. Yes, you know that. And it's running there, and we have these beta phase there. And yes, it's not so easy to understand behind the scene, because if you have an error with Microsoft in the product, is it in the AI part, or is it in the language part, or is it in the Teams part? Most of them are on the Teams part, Sarah. It's an easy part. The difference is that we can do that, and that's very interesting to have that. And therefore, I have yes, you can have some sites inside the internet that you can ask, what does the people outside have had questions, and put it inside the good thinking, search machines we have in the internet, like Bing or Google or whatever. And then you got back from this side what the people are having some questions. So I have to learn a lot of things, a smaller thing. And therefore I have to say, I have to renew all the stuff. And I write a series now with some things, let's see, basics of all this stuff. Not the high level from left to right and business to business and the stuff. No, the basics, still the basics about this product called SkyDrive. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, SkyDrive. That's a good legal one. So
Groove. Why you didn't say Groove?
Groove. Yeah. Who's knowing the Groove client? Everyone. So That's wonderful, and thank you, Hans, for a little story and funny story. And this position or this situation I want to connect, and we are talking every time about adoption, and all of you.
Christina.
What's your favorite product? Funny noodle.
So, it's a challenge how you can make the moderator that he don't talk anything anymore. Back to the question.
You can read. You have
All
your
fine,
notes.
all fine. I have to learn it, so that's okay. The question was funny stories. Why funny stories? You all work for customers, with customers, and working with MVPs, or every year in the winter time and near Christmas, we all have to repair our IT for the family or not, or I have to repair every holiday in the Christmas time. But that's one of these funny stories, and I think it's a cool sign and a question. Yeah, do you have a funny story out of the last 3 years, for example, or an interesting story about what happened with you and your favorite product, or what happened with you and one of the Microsoft products in the area? For example,
no example.
No example. Okay, I don't want to example. We talked before. Raphael, don't explain your questions, so I don't explain my questions. Who wants to start? Antje, or we are mixing. I have one.
Let me know. I have a funny story, but it's an old one. But you guys can laugh out of it.
Here's. Okay, so my focus is adoption and change management, and I have to admit that I'm not sure if I have funny stories to tell. I might have interesting and curious things to tell, because I deal mainly with people and their fears about getting into a new product. So I'm not sure if I can come up with a funny story, but an interesting story. Well, I tell you something actually. Maybe this is funny, and it's maybe funny on my part. So over the last 3-4 months, I've been supporting a few schools in Munich to adopt Microsoft Teams while the kids were at home. And it was one elementary school here in Munich. I've been working with them for a while, and I was showing them Teams and trying to explain to them different concepts. And at some point they said to me, but is it really safe to use Teams? Because we heard that at one point Teams doesn't work anymore because now everybody uses Teams and Microsoft can't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it's a legitimate question, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
So I was, and I'm not, I mean, technology is not really my background. It's not what I study. And I said, well, you have to think about it this way. You have a server here, and the server is running the system and the services. And if it gets overloaded, then there's another server, and it flips on, it switches on, and then it kind of takes over the load, so it keeps working. And I tried to explain in every possible way, and it didn't work. And the concept of having a file in Teams that 2 people could collaborate on, and it doesn't have to be sent as an attachment, was really hard. I mean, these were some teachers that are, their main job is teaching people.
Sorry, Angie.
Beer was cherry. That's all I have to say.
But it's not beer at all. This is juice. Cherry juice.
I thought Creek beer was a chick beer.
Cool.
Can you keep that? Please. Don't remove this.
It even matches the color of your shirt, Raphael. Well played. So anyway, so I tried to explain this, and it was really hard, and I tried different ways, and all of a sudden she looks at me and she says to me, so basically it's like a barrel or a pool full of water. So at some point when the pool gets full and it starts flowing over, then there's another barrel that picks up the water, right? So it was this idea of water overflow. And I said, exactly, this is how the servers work. And it was kind of a reminder to myself again that you have to break things down in absolute non-technical terms for most end users to actually understand what they can do and how it works. And it can be very simple. And yeah, this is the way how you get through to people. So it's not a funny story, but I kind of had to remind myself again that I have to step out of this technology world and really put myself into the world of the person that I'm working with to be able to explain some of the things, because they do want to know it and they do want to understand. And I appreciate that they want to understand. So not a funny story, but
yeah, it's all fine, all fine. So
I think not only you need to keep remember yourself, I think all of us, I think we should skip the technique, like a techniques. I don't know if we can translate it to any language, but it's kind of like a Portuguese way to say techniques to people that probably are not getting any word. But
the good thing is because we love the technology, right? Because we love talking about the things we're passionate about. So that's why I think everybody here is good at what you're doing, right? Because you're passionate about the technology. But when you go to the end user and you're trying to help them adopt the technology, it's really stepping out of your own world and stepping into their world and looking at things through their eyes. And most of the time, we don't know that much about their world. So it's important to remember that.
Cool. So, Christina is back.
Somebody else got a beer.
I'm trying to get wine now. Soon.
But it's in the morning or 9 hours, so it's nearly.
It's Friday.
It's Friday. It's Friday. So yeah. Cheers. Oh,
cheers.
It's orange. What's that for beer?
Saturday.
Sick of Saturday. I do have one here. Come on, I need to make it.
Okay, Sara is moving.
She's gone.
Okay, that's definitely the funniest podcast.
Like someone always missing.
Yeah,
There's always no Full House people.
Christina's back. Do you have a story or about your Microsoft consulting and supporting your friends, your family, and all of? Oh,
yeah, Saturday! Woohoo! Yes. I need to do my nails, so ignore my nails.
That's the
right.
Okay.
Thank you, Sara. Thank you.
Yeah.
Raphael, take a close look. That's what you should be drinking.
Almost
that's the perfect
Belgian one, but then I this is for you.
Okay. Back to another question. What's your favorite beer? we skipped the plan of questions. What's your favorite beer? Fast question.
I have a funny story. It has to do with my old SharePoint days.
Yeah.
So I had, this is when I used to live, in Pennsylvania, outside of Philly. And I had a customer. Let's just say, back then, it's like customers might put their employees through some training for a week and think that they can be an expert in a week. And you tell them, no, you need help. No, our guys have it. I'm like, I'll tell you need help. So I get this call one day begging for me to come back. Cheers.
Yes. It's Friday.
It's Friday. I get this call. Christina, we really need your help. I said, what's going on? I said, I don't have time. We need your help. Things are messed up. Can you just come in for, can you come in for 2 days? I said, I can't. I have zero time. I don't. And it's kind of an I told you so situation. So I doubled my rate, not expecting them to take it. Right. I did not have time. I was already on all this other work and all that stuff. They took it like, OK, so I went on site for 2 days. And so for they couldn't edit the properties of the web parts in SharePoint. Like, what the heck's going on? And here I'm sitting in a room with a group of people troubleshooting things, figuring out what's wrong. They didn't tell me what they did because they didn't know what all they did. Right. They just did stuff. So here I'm struggling going, I'm trying to figure out how come I can't edit a web part? What the heck's going on? Corona, yes. And after an hour, one of the guys stops. I said, why can't I edit the web parts? What did you guys do? This was a long time ago, mind you. Now I would have used DevTools and I would have figured out what was wrong. Keep in mind, this was a long time ago. So the guy goes, oh, yeah. I didn't want to show the title of the web part, so I hid it in the CSS. So they completely hid everything, so you couldn't even get to the properties to get to the edit, like all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So what I did, I sat there and I said, let me show you a property called Chrome type. I went in to edit the web part to say, if you don't want the title to show, change this drop down here. Oh, well, we were afraid to update anything on there. We were afraid we were going to break the site. Like, you broke? Okay. I just laughed and I said, you can update any of these properties because you can update them again. So that was my old school SharePoint experience.
Cool.
Very cool.
There are always 5 different ways to get something done in Microsoft World, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's also 5 different ways to click to get somewhere.
And if it's not worked correctly in all 5, they killed the feature completely.
It's not a bug, it's a feature.
Yeah.
It's another feature.
Yeah.
But it's IT. It's all fine. So I don't have any questions anymore. No, I have one. I have my sheet. So, okay.
I have a quick one.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
It's not
please.
funny at all, you know. But
Yeah.
I think we are talking about cloud solutions and a lot
Yeah.
of, you know,
Yeah.
high tech technology. But if you think about like 2012, 8 years ago, around 8 years ago, we usually were talking about cloud computing, you know, like soft as a service and Office 365 because they killed Beeple's name. And then I was delivering a session, actually, with a few friends in Brazil. We were delivering a session, you know, the whole day with a lot of sessions talk about Office 365 as a solution, a cloud solution, and how nice if you have, you know, if you can migrate your Exchange server, on-prem server to Exchange Online. Probably you don't need to be worried about many things, and you can, you know, transfer that kind of, I would say, responsibility to Microsoft and so on and so far. And like the whole day, you know, talk about cloud solution. The only thing that you need to take care about is like having a good connection, you know, because the service is not in your environment anymore and so on and so far. And then I think it was like 5 p.m., something like that. Like in the end of the conference, someone just raised the hand. I have a question. If I don't have internet connection, can I send an email if I'm using Exchange Online? Oh,
Okay.
you are like all the speakers were like, okay. I think we should repeat everything that you said, like until now. You know, everybody stop it. You know, the whole, like everybody, like what? And it was like that kind of question that you asked, like in the middle of everyone.
Yeah.
Wow.
But isn't it interesting? I mean, it's kind of a crazy story, but it shows again that people are coming from all different kinds of backgrounds and experiences. And for us, the stuff is normal, but for others, it takes a while, sometimes for the most basic things to sink in.
Yeah,
even for IT,
It's not a stupid question, right? It's just like somebody, oh, wait a second.
Yeah. But with IT guys, even with IT guys, it's a good point, Andy. With IT guys also, you know, like now, I don't know if we are going to see that kind of question. Maybe we are, depends on the region. But it was like something that we were like, what? Oh my gosh. So that was fun.
I don't know if you guys have been getting this a lot. I haven't gotten it recently, but before this whole shutdown, one of the questions I would get is, well, since we're moving to Teams, we can just get rid of SharePoint, right?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Remove the 5F.
Can you just turn off SharePoint for us, please? Because we don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
Or the client saying, well, we want Teams, but we want Teams and we want OneDrive, but we don't want SharePoint. You don't need to do that.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions, but I have also a very short story. I got a call also, not from a customer, from someone from out of the community, and they make a call and said, we have a lot of trouble with our PC. The PC is don't turning on, it's not starting, and it's no blue screen, and nothing has happened, and we can't print, and can you help me? And I said, okay, what happened? I don't know. Okay, what I have to do, and I asked, okay, have you put in the power adapter? And I said, no, power adapter, you are terrible. Yes, power adapter is ready, and I do anything and all of this. And then at the end of the story, I asked them to go out of the store. It was in one of the stores, and he came out and said, "Okay, there's no energy in the whole street."
Wow.
That's a perfect one.
Watching 15 minutes about the IT and the PC, it's not working and all of this. So
I thought you were about to say it wasn't plugged in.
yeah. And I said,
That's what I was waiting
now
for.
I have the reason, and no, it's plugged in and it's working. And, okay, the whole street has no energy. So for me, it was a very clear learning. You have to hear what your customer or your friends or your family told you, and don't think that the typical reason is the reason why it don't works or like this. I hope you all agree me. So there are so crazy stories outside and what happened, and often it don't happen because they're using Teams or Slack or whatever. There are situations outside that we can influence or that we can change, but it happened, and it happened every day. So that's one other thing. So, and every day is.
I have also one short story. With my mother, that's interesting. 10 years ago, she has never written and has a keyboard in his hand. It's a long story. My mother is now 92. So in last year, I bought her a Surface, the newest one. So because I want to say, okay, we have to go into a shop and look for the small Surface. That's too small. I need a little bigger screen. Okay. And this time now she has to write something, and it gives me a call and has to say, I have a problem printing this stuff. And yes, printing is not so. She has printed. No, that was scanned. That's a small scanner. But anyway, so she asked me, and I have to kill the queue with 10 or 15 times. He has done all things out of the book, and it never comes out. So I have to say, okay, do you have the inventory for the book, for the machine to print? And she says, oh, I have to look for that. Give me a call. I give you a call at the afternoon. So I never reached the call because I have found the book in the internet. She has found it too. Read the stuff, press all, says, okay, it may be, and then he's printing. So with 92 self-service is absolutely a funny story. And thank you for your work. I haven't deleted the file again.
That's
but
cool.
It's working perfectly. So before we play a little game called Fast Question and Fast Answer, and I explain it in a couple of minutes. Yeah, it's very funny. We have some funny questions, some questions like one product or the other. But before we start, and we have a lot of questions on our list. I'm looking to Hans 10 more, but I choose one from what we all are interested in is also what is excellent? What is the most important culture difference in your home country? So you all coming from your home country, going to another country or visiting another country very long time. So what is the cultural difference? So we have a lot of people from different countries in the world. What do you think? What is the most important cultural difference?
The language.
Food is 1,000 times better in Europe than in the US.
Food? What did you say? Food?
Your food is amazing and not toxic like it is here in the US.
Food. Language.
Mm-hmm.
You know that I'm in food heaven every time I go to Europe.
Yeah, because I cook for you. Of course, if others do the work, I'd be in heaven too.
Hey, I did help.
That's true.
I did help.
So I'm going to jump in here. My favorite topic is differences between Germany and the US. Is in the US the ease of networking, and in Germany the sometimes pulling teeth to get people to actually open up to talk to you.
Okay. Yeah.
Drives me crazy.
Yep.
That's
Yeah. Definitely.
enough said.
Yeah, that's right. So Sarah writes her hand. So
Mia first, because she writes.
Mia. Sorry, Mia.
Okay. Yeah, for my part, also the food is also important for me, and I think also the weather is a bit different. So, for example, like when I was in Taiwan, if I have a bag of chips, then after 10 minutes, if you don't finish it, you will get like a bit softened because the weather is a bit moist and like the island. And then compared to Germany, so if you didn't finish the potato chips, it's fine that if you can pick up like 1 hour later or 2 hours later, it still tastes the same. It's really nice.
Okay.
But Mia, you also have a different in our session with you, personal, 1-1. No, with Raphael and me. You also say it's a most important difference that you have to say, okay, you only have 7, and in Germany, 21. Did you know that?
Oh, I think it's the yearly like vacation. So I think in Germany we could have like 28 days is follow the rules, and then in Taiwan we have only 7 days holidays per year. It's like nothing. So you could imagine if someone wants to travel from Taiwan to Europe, and then we take like 1.5 of flying, and then you stay in Germany for 2 and 3 days, and then you have to fly back because you only have 7 days for your holiday per year. So I think that doesn't make sense at all. I think like, but actually I found we have more like national holidays in Taiwan compared to in Germany. So like in general, if you count the numbers together, it's kind of like similar, but more like in Germany, like you could kind of schedule your vacation by yourself instead of like you could think of if there's a national holiday, everyone will not working at the same day. So if you go anywhere, that must be like really crowded. As you mentioned, maybe on the mountain will be more crowded than street. And then, so I think that happens. So for me, I prefer that work here, and then I could have a flexibility to arrange my like vacation and holidays.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sara.
I could say all of them. I would say, language, the food, like the holidays as well. Here I have more, but not a lot. Like we cannot compare with you, Mia, but here it's more than in Brazil, because in Brazil you count the weekend days, not only the weekdays, the work days. But I would say, I was thinking here from my experience, because maybe for someone else can be different. I think Brazilians, they don't know how to say no. It's very, I learned it here, working here, because sometimes you are busy, very busy, and you have many things to deliver or many things to finish. And if you ask a Brazilian person, like, can you add something else in your, task list? They cannot say no. I think we didn't learn, how to say no, because we think that probably we are not polite, saying that we are too busy, that I cannot help this person. And here in German, actually, I learned it, how to say no, because people usually, if they are busy, real busy, you say like, I cannot help you now. Come back in 2 days or, in 1 week. But in Brazil, they are going to say, yes, I can help you, give me, but they are not going to deliver what you asked also. So that kind of thing that I think it's, Brazilians, they want to be nice all the time, to not have this, this moment that they can say that they cannot help you, because they are afraid that you are going to feel bad because of that. And this is something that I don't know if everybody will say the same, but when I start working here in Germany, I saw it like that is no problem to say that you are busy. Someone will understand, and they will come back when you are free, and then you can deliver or you can do. But it's worse if you are saying that you can do it, and then you're not doing it all. So I think something that I learned, and I will, I am bringing that lesson learned for my life now, because I think it's quite good, when you say that you cannot. Lessons learned, yeah.
I hate to say this, guys, but I do have a hard stop in 2 minutes, so I have to drop because I have a customer meeting that I can't reschedule. So they were gracious enough to reschedule for me to be able to do this. So, but
fine. Thank you very much. We have only the short question, so do it fast. We have 2 options, and everyone from Christina, Sara, Mia, and Antje, only the first option or the second option. So we have 2 options to choose. Okay. Example: Word or PowerPoint?
PowerPoint.
Word.
OneNote or whiteboard?
OneNote.
OneNote.
A planner workshop or a workshop based on planner?
Planner
Neither.
Word. No.
It's wrong.
Can you do a whole workshop on planner?
Neither.
Okay.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Neither.
I have another one.
The
Cheese.
slides as a task, and then every task is a slide, and then you can say the task is done, and then the slide is moving, and you have the next slide.
I did my presentation in Paris a little bit like that. My agenda was all in planner.
That was the question.
I was there, yes.
Yeah. One more. One more of this funny thing. Your PowerPoint presentation with a monkey or a monkey with your PowerPoint presentation?
The second.
With a monkey.
With a monkey?
I would actually like a kangaroo, Raphael.
Of course, but they can use my PowerPoint.
Okay, last fast one. And this is one for our attendees and also for the people that hear the podcast. Outlook or Teams? It's a hard question. I know.
Outlook.
It depends.
I'm still a diehard
Teams.
Outlook.
Yeah.
Outlook.
I'm like, okay, I'm getting into the dev stuff with Teams, which is why I said that's one of my passions. But I realize I'm still very old school. My replies and stuff, I'm still stuck in the Outlook world where it's taking a mind shift for me to go and actually reply to things in Teams.
Mm-hmm.
So, but to be fair, I'm in multiple tenants, which, as you know, the desktop client sucks for multi-tenant access.
Yeah.
Tenant switching, I know it's being worked on, right? But I'm just saying, I'm as you said this, I'm actually in Outlook now, letting the customer know I'll be on my way in a few, right? I could go in Teams, but it's quicker for me to do this because then I have to go here to go to that tenant because I'm in this tenant. So, yeah.
And the call is in another tenant. So, with the view of the
call, yes.
Thank you very much for your time.
Is that your call, Christina? Is it?
Yeah, I gotta run, guys.
But we have to end because we have to leave the beer garden and drink beer at home. So we have to leave the coffee club.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Talk to you
Cheers.
later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for attending.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
The MVP Coffee Party.